On a Thursday in March, Marlene Voss was called into the office behind the grill. 11 minutes later, she carried 29 years out in a sack. She was 53 years old. The rent was due in 9 days, and her savings held $218. 14 months later, she earned more than she ever had carrying trays. It began with one rule: a stranger gave her free. If you have given your best years to somebody else's kitchen, you already know how that office feels. Marlene waited tables at the Aurora Diner in Erie, Pennsylvania, 29 years, 6 nights a week. Her name tag hung by the mirror, worn smooth by 9,000 straps. Her Buick held its taillight on with electrical tape. Her knees clicked on the stairs and kept time. Her husband Carl had been gone 8 years. Her daughter lived in Columbus. Their call stayed brief. At the Aurora, coffee arrived unasked. She knew every regular by name and by the sound of the door. She worked doubles and covered Christmas so the young girls could be home. "Slow down," the owner said, "we will take care of you." Believing was cheaper than planning. Her tips paid for her daughter's graduation dress. The pension would come, or so it was promised. On her best night, she cleared $110 in tips and kept a can for the taxes nobody mentioned. She had rented the same 2-bedroom house for 19 years. The landlord never raised the rent. In January, a sign went up under new management. A new owner was 29 and full of concepts. He changed the menus, then the coffee, then the morning crew. He saved Marlene for a Thursday. "We are restructuring the morning shift," he said. She watched his lips and understood the word meant her. He needed younger hands, faster hands, hands that did not click on the stairs, he explained. She asked about another position. He said consolidation again, and she saw he had rehearsed it. She left with a sack of aprons and a check worth 11 days. Nobody mentioned a retirement lunch. The owner who promised to take care of her had moved to Florida. He answered once, said he was sorry. Marlene sat in the driveway with the engine off, 53 and too old for the only job she knew. Her daughter did not cry, which was worse. "Honey, you can finally rest," she said, meaning it kindly. The rent was due in 9 days, $218 and a can of tip change. That night she did the math on a napkin, 2018 in, 410 out. She applied everywhere that week. The breakfast place, 2 hotels, a truck stop, the diner on the bay. Picture this: a woman who once fed 500 people a week, standing in a store lot, unable to walk in, ask. Every manager was polite, which made it worse. "We need more energy," they said, meaning younger. A temp agency had nothing for a woman who carried trays. They had a job for a man from the insurance office. "What should I say about myself?" she asked. "Emphasize speed," said the agent, and she took it as a mercy. She baked pies for the Sunday flea market. The table fee ate the profit, but it was hers. She cooked for 2 shut-ins at cost, $10 a week, and a pleasure to be asked. The electric bill arrived in a yellow envelope. She paid it from the tip can and cooked from the pantry. She ate the extra portions standing at the counter so she would not taste them. In the 4th week, she put the butter back. She had done it before, but never without a paycheck. She called about a card shop at the mall. The manager's voice went careful, and she hung up first. Sleep became a decision. She lay awake listing what she owned, all 40 years old. Her daughter sent $200 marked transmission. Marlene put it aside uncashed and said nothing. But the part that broke her deepest arrived in the mail, in her own handwriting. She spread her tax slips on the table. 29 years of work, and her best year paid $19,000. 29 years, 19,000. "A can of tip change as the whole harvest," she whispered. On a Tuesday, the clock rang at 7:40. She watched the ceiling an hour before moving. She got up, the way a workhorse gets up, and made coffee for one. The pot never looked so large. That afternoon, she drove past her old spot. The sign said, "Now hiring," the words leaning forward like a wink. A girl in blue apron worked her old section, Bast and 20. Marlene drove away before her eyes gave her away. At home, she counted the months left on her lease and stopped because there was no point. She called the gas company about a payment plan. "I lost my job," she said, small and flat. The man said he understood. She knew he did not, but his lie was kind enough to hold her. That was the lowest week. Toast for 6 days, called it budgeting, no answer to unfamiliar numbers. Then she heard her name in the greeting card aisle. Vernon Hale, 78, retired, 15 years her customer. He asked if the rumors were true. She said yes, and that she was fine, which people say when they are not. My Eileen died 2 years ago, he said. I have not had a good meal since, and my own eggs are a crime. He offered $40 a week for 2 dinners. She opened her mouth to refuse. Yes came out instead. Then again, Vernon Hale looked nothing like a teacher. He looked like a man who sold roofing and outlived his wife. The first week she left 2 covered dishes at his door. He paid in cash, folded once, and nodded. The second Tuesday he met her at the door. Marlene, how many plates did you cook this week besides mine? 16, counting the shut-ins and the flea market. 16, he repeated. You call that a hobby? Slowly the math arrived, the way bad math does. 16 plates a week was a business that refused to name itself. Vernon had sold things his whole life. Her pies cost $3 and were worth 10. Sit down, he said. I will give you 3 rules, and they are free, and they are older than both of us. No one taught you these in 29 years. The diner needed you to carry, and I am too retired to care. Rule 1. Cook 1 extra plate every single day for 1 person who pays you. Not a menu, 1 plate. Nothing he told her was complicated. 3 rules nobody had taught her, and the napkin was already in her hand. Rule 2. Every dollar goes into 2 envelopes at night, bills in one, the future in the other. Never raid the future first. Rule 3. 90 days. You do not decide if it works. You only decide if you did the day. She copied the rules onto the napkin she had saved. Her voice shook on the word future, and she read them twice. Where does a paying plate come from? She asked. You have fed this town for 30 years. They just do not know yet. That was the change, more than the rules. Erie knew her, and now Erie would eat her food. She started on a Monday with 1 big ziti, delivered to the dealership. $9, the receptionist said. Tuesday, 1 meatloaf to the pharmacy, $12, and the pharmacist asked for something sweet on Friday. She taped the napkin above the butter dish. 3 rules and handwriting that slanted like a man in a hurry. The first week brought $61. The second brought $74, and the future envelope began to feel like a place. Rule 2 surprised her most. Money counted at night behaves differently from money hoped for in the morning. Vernon began eating on her porch, watching her cook. You rush the onions, he said. Onions set the evening's pace. She laughed, and it startled them both. She had not laughed in that kitchen in months. In the 3rd week she added a 3rd day, 2 paying plates, and the shut-ins still ate at cost without a word. The rule worked faster than she expected. What it cost her first was the harder part, and the price was her pride. The price was standing on porches asking strangers for a weekly plate, no menu, only her name. A woman on Liberty Street said no politely. A man told her to get a real job. She thanked him and walked on. That night she almost opened the future envelope first. She did not. She sat down and ate that day's extra plate instead. Rule 1 includes me, she told the empty kitchen. The woman on Cherry Street was Doreen, a school cook retired with 31 years and hands that still moved like work. Doreen read the recipe on a receipt. This is not a recipe, she said. It is a reason to come back Thursday. They became something with no name yet. You cook, I bake, Doreen said, and they split the plates and envelopes. By the 6th week, she had 11 paying customers and a used freezer bought for $60. Her daughter called and heard the change before the news. Mom, you sound like you did before Dad got sick. Marlene told her the 3 rules over the phone. Her daughter was quiet, then said, Teach me rule 1 again. The 7th week was the first time the money held still. Bills paid, envelope heavier, nothing urgent. By the 9th week, something changed, and it was not the money. It was the way she stood at the counter in the morning. She woke at 6 because the day had a shape now, and it belonged to her. The early days were not smooth, and that should be said plainly. Twice she wanted to quit. Once she almost did. The near quake came on a rainy Friday. A client canceled lunches, and the notebook lost $112 in one text. She called Vernon from the porch. I built a paper house. Good, he said. Then it is light enough to fix. What fell? She told him. Who ate today? He asked. Everyone. Then you had a good day. Close the notebook. She opened the future envelope and counted it twice. Not enough to save her, but it bought one more week. The second near quit was not about money. On a Wednesday, she delivered a plate to a man from her old section. I thought you were done with food, he said. I am done with the apron, she said, not the food. Doreen laughed until she cried. You told him in your customer voice. That voice is closed accounts. That month ended with $831 through her hands. $200 went to the future envelope. This is the part almost nobody sees. The hardest workers end up the most tired, not the most secure. Vernon stopped by on a Saturdays and stood in her kitchen, hands behind his back like at a museum. This used to be a woman cooking, he said. Now it is a kitchen. She had no answer for that. She put a plate before him. He ate it and nodded, the way Vernon said, I love you. That night, she wrote one line in the notebook. I am not the help anymore. But the part that truly mattered arrived in the 4th month, through Doreen's church basement. The church hosted wakes, and wakes in Erie mean food, usually in white trays. 80 people, can you? The pastor asked. She said yes before her brain caught up. Then she made a list that saved her. 80 plates, church ovens, Doreen's garage fridge, 1 rented table. The luncheon netted $460, and her hands shook when she wrote it down. A nephew of the deceased ran a warehouse. He asked her to feed 40 workers twice a week. She quoted a price on a napkin, and he said, deal. The Auroras stopped being her whole story that day. 40 plates twice a week, at $8 a plate. Vernon's napkin was running out of room. Picture the same house, in month 5, 2 freezers, 3 notebooks, a woman who answers the phone like she owns the kitchen. Compounding never felt like compounding while it happened. 1 plate, a phone call, a warehouse, a Tuesday that mattered. She began waking at 5:40 to cook before deliveries, a secret from everyone who had doubted her. The kitchen ran like a schedule. 6 mains by 9, 12 by noon, and the phone rang on time. The pharmacy wanted a Friday special, the dentist a monthly tray, and Meatloaf Tuesdays became a small religion at the warehouse. Same thing Friday? The pharmacist asked. She wrote the order down before she could argue herself out of it. Customers stopped ordering plates and started ordering her. A man asked for the chicken the way Marlene makes it. In month 11, she bought a second freezer with cash and stood looking at it. Doreen cried into a bowl of batter. You own that freezer. My husband owned me for 20 years and never owned one. The numbers went into the notebook every night. They did not lie, and they did not stop. In month 13, a second church asked for her, and the funeral home asked for her name. In the 14th month, she sat with a notebook and 2 envelopes and coffee gone cold. She added the columns slowly because good numbers deserve respect. That month, she cleared $2,900 alone. If you have started over after 50, write the age you were in the comments. Somebody reading this needs to see that number. Men write 61, women write 58. Leave your number where somebody still at the beginning can find it. She read the total 3 times, then called her daughter and said it out loud. Her daughter was quiet. So the waitress who began at 53 owns what? Marlene looked at the freezer. I do not know yet. That afternoon, the future envelope held $3,000, bills paid a month ahead. The proof did not end there. The warehouse doubled its order, the funeral home booked 6 months, a grocery store asked to stock her casseroles. She turned the grocery store down at first. Rule 1 said 1 plate a day, not a shelf. Vernon came over with both hands flat on the table. Amend Rule 1, he said. You have graduated from plates to people. She signed the grocery deal on a napkin, for old time's sake. Her name went up beside the cold case. But the final proof came from the least likely door in Erie. The office behind a grill called with a catering order. The new owner asked for 40 plates for a staff dinner. Same portion, same price, his note said. She took the order and did not raise the price. Doreen asked why. He is only a man with a budget, Marlene said. She taped a small card inside the box. Good luck with the concept, it said, and she signed her full name. She did not become a chef or a rich woman. She became the person she had been feeding all along. The envelopes never held a fortune. They held proof, and proof is what a person eats when the world says she is done. Every extra plate was a vote. Every voter told her that she was still here and worth a price. No one hands you the future for 29 years of loyalty. Loyalty is a beautiful habit, and habits do not write checks. The gray office did not end her. It moved her from a restaurant serving people to a kitchen feeding them. She still wakes at 5:40, fills 2 envelopes, cooks 1 extra plate. It has a waiting list now. By the 18th month, the numbers had made her a boss. She bought the house she had rented for 19 years. The landlord sold it to her at a fair price. Her daughter came home for the closing and stood with a napkin hung. "Mom, it is time for a real menu." Marlene laughed. "Rule 1 is the menu," she said. "The rest is just paper." The butter dish that was empty the week she put the butter back now held a whole pound. The lesson fits in one breath. Do one useful thing for one person every day, whether the day deserves it or not. Tonight, cook 1 extra portion and give it to somebody who needs it. 1 plate before you sleep. Your age is not a deadline. It is a receipt for the skills you already own. If you are rebuilding after 50, subscribe and walk the rest of the road with us. Tomorrow, the man who lost his pension at 62 and the 2 envelopes that built it back.